dramatic loss in the last election. I lived through a time when I was 12 points up. 1 week before John McCain came to the state and ultimately said, I'm leaving, I'm not coming back to the state, I've finished campaigning here. And we saw our league go from 12 points up to 2 points up in 2 weeks, and that was a week before the election. And we were toast, 2% toast, but nonetheless toast. It was a loss. It didn't make any difference whether it was 20 or 200% difference. It was 2%, but it was still a loss. We did better than the top of the ticket. John McCain by 10,000 votes, better outcome in this district than he did. While John McCain lost Barack Obama by 6 points, Mark Schauer did 4 points worse than that. He only won by 2 points. All that to say, again, this race is entirely winnable. In a normal election year where you don't have a tsunami, the portions of the Obama tsunami that went through, this, though it is a swing district, still leans Republican. And we should win it. And with what Mark Schauer has done or not done, the number of town hall meetings he has held that he's screened and programmed versus the unscreened town hall meetings that I did in August when he should have been doing that as your congressman. The teletown hall meetings that he held, that he screened the questions. He made sure it was an infomercial for him. He didn't listen to people and then came back afterwards and told you why you should like health care takeover by the federal government. All of that added to his support of and vote for capital tax, or capital trade as they call it, the largest energy tax, the largest tax that will ever come on American people if we ever allow it to pass. Unfortunately, the Senate right now has bottled it up, and Senator Jim Inhofe, a good friend, a good conservative, most outspoken opponent of man-made global warming and the cap and trade, has indicated to me just recently that he's for this term. It will come back. You can count on it. But should the Republicans take majority control of the House, and that's entirely doable. It's not certain, but it's entirely doable. We will have an opportunity to say no to that. And I think the Senate, with more of them up for election, the next election in 2012, will be entirely adverse to being brave and putting themselves in line, especially since they've lost some of their old members, like Senator Byrd and Senator Kennedy. Mark Schauer also voted for the Pelosi budget with 9,000 pork barrel earmarks. Tried to tell you that he opposed $250 million of those earmarks by voting for amendments to take those out. Well, those same amendments I offered along with Jeff Flake and John Campbell from California, knowing they would never pass. The majority party wouldn't allow them to pass. But at least we might get a few roll call votes out of that. So we put some Democrats on record as opposing good common sense amendments to take pork out of the budget, like the Bridge to Nowhere, sadly, which was offered by a Republican congressman. But nonetheless, Mark Schauer puts the press release out to you and puts the mailing out to you that says, I stood for the taxpayer, I voted against $250 million of pork barrel projects. Stood for you, but didn't tell you. Didn't even put fine print in. However, when the budget bill came up with all those $250 million pork barrel earmarks in it, I voted for the budget anyway. The difference between Mark Schauer and me in that same budget, I voted for the amendments to take those earmarks out, and then I voted against the budget, including the transportation budget that had some of our own projects in, and thankfully we were able to show the value of those projects, so they passed anyway. But I wasn't blackmailed into voting for that budget. So those are differences we're looking at. When we get down to Walberg, are you just a no voter? Just saying no? Well, I don't think that you would elect me to do that. You would select me to say yes to the taxpayer. Yes to freedom and liberty. Yes to the Constitution. But in saying yes to all those, at times you got to vote no on what they're trying to push through. So I'm willing to do that, but I'm also willing to say I have an alternative. Cap and trade. I would oppose that to the wall. Try to not only amend it, but to settle it. But I have an alternative that I offered when I was in Congress, what we call the all of the above energy plan. And it's a plan now that's been taken by other members who are still in Congress and inserted as legislation as well to try and get it through. But all it did was say, while we're giving incentives for new and creative alternative energy sources, whatever they might be, whether it's wind, solar, biofuels, you name it, making energy you have coffee, I don't know what. The creativity of America is allowed to do that and give an incentive by property tax.